Hey, wanted to talk to you about something. I was just in my car. I heard on the radio some news about Metallica. Who loves Metallica? Rock and roll. So if you know about Metallica, they've had an original bassist was killed in 1986 in a tour bus crash. Cliff Burton, rest in peace. So in 1986, when there was a death on a highway, nobody came out and gave a breathalyzer, blood sample, or anything to the driver. So the driver was never convicted of drunk driving and vehicular homicide. However, James Hetfield, lead singer, has always held that the driver of the tour bus was drunk at the time. I mean, I'm not here to, convict anybody that hasn't been sentenced in or convicted in a court of law, but in 1986, on Metallica's tour bus in the middle of the night, I would probably put my money that there was alcohol involved in, that. So anyway, so Cliff Burton's dead. James Hetfield says it's because the entourage driver of the tour bus was drunk. He was not convicted, so we'll never know for sure. However, the estate of Cliff Burton has signed off on Cliff Burton, or Burton Cliff 'em All Super Beer. So this is a beer that now Cliff Burton's family has. It's 6.4% alcohol. This will get you effed up quicker. Yeah, it's a super beer. They're really popular nowadays. Why drink 12 when you can drink 3 and be effed up? So, I don't know, this type of stuff drives me up the wall. So the family of the killed bassist, who was most probably killed in an alcohol-related incident, let's just say what it is, the man was killed by alcohol. They love alcohol so much that they have made a Cliff Burton super alcohol, despite alcohol killing their dear loved one, and Metallica has agreed to sell it at their concerts. So, please, you go into a concert, everybody's looking to get effed up, intoxicated at a concert, despite, the substance killing their former bassist, or their original bassist. But guess what? There's also, but there's a charitable aspect to it. Cliff Burton Beer will be giving a percentage of the proceeds of the alcohol sold at the Metallica concerts to a Cliff Burton scholarship, so some kids can go to college where they can consume more Cliff Burton alcohol, and we'll just hope that, everybody leaving the concert does not, have alcohol-related incidences as they leave, because we're selling a super beer, and, the more you drink and the more alcohol you get into your system, the quicker you get into it, the more likely you are to make good decisions, as we all know. That's what we're promoting. Go Metallica. I've never heard, what is this mentality? How do we love alcohol that much? That it literally came up into some place, killed somebody we love, and then in response to that, we're going to promote said alcohol to the world. I can't deal with it, man. But, take it down. Take it down. I'm not here to be angry. I get all worked up. Let me exercise my meditation, peaceful practice that I've been doing. Anger has no place in sobriety. I know. I'm sorry. I'll take it down. In 1986, they didn't bring anybody out to test anybody for alcohol when somebody got killed. And this is something I think about often, about conditioning of alcohol in our brains and our life. So I grew up in a time in the 80s where it's commonplace, and look, I had a great upbringing, very opportunistic upbringing. Some would call it privileged, whatever, that's fine, middle class, white family. But, I guess things were different, and we were unlucky enough to kind of fall in this time frame where what we saw as kids related to alcohol ain't exactly what is acceptable nowadays according to the law. So I think, I bet a lot of people can relate to this, that in the 80s and early 90s, let's pack the kids up in the car, go to the family gathering on the weekend, barbecue, whatever it is. My family bonds over alcohol. So we all go to the family barbecue. Everybody's having a grand old time, throwing back drinks and, romanticizing the consumption of alcohol, the drug. And then at the end of the day, after a day of drinking, to get all the kids back into the car and we'll drive home. I mean, that was commonplace. It wasn't even really frowned upon back then. And this is what we saw as kids. Well, sometime in the mid-90s, I think, probably right around the time where we were approaching, somewhat of a legal drinking age. It was actually I think when I was 16, they changed it here in Louisiana from 18 to 21, an 18-year-old drinking age. So I almost got to start going to jail 2 years before I was legally could have added 2 years onto my jail going career. but so I was 16. They moved it from 18 darn to 21. Of course, I waited those 3 years to start drinking alcohol. Of course, not high school in New Orleans is more raucous than college. Trust me. I mean, I was ready to settle down a little bit by the time I got to college. But so anyway, so about that time is when the government was like, all right, people are getting killed in drunk driving accidents all over the place. I think we should probably start enforcing DUI a little bit more. And that's what they did. They started arresting people, checkpointing people, taking a much more vigilant stand on drunk driving. However, my point is, the condition that our young brain saw in the 80s and what was commonplace to when we became adults, something changed right there, and we were kind of unlucky enough. Well, you got to rise above. We were unlucky enough to fall in that time frame where what you saw growing up and what you're doing as you approach adulthood ain't allowed no more. And that causes a lot of problems with people. I mean, it's hard to change the conditioned brain into thinking something else. But that's kind of a side note on my Metallica Cliff Burton beer speech. Alcohol killed the man. So the family decided to make a beer with 2 times the amount of alcohol in it as a regular beer. Metallica decided to sell it at the concert. We are now promoting super beers and intoxication as quick as possible at the Metallica concert in honor and in memory of our deceased bassist killed by alcohol. Makes sense to me. Talk to y'all later.